Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. Excited to be with you and very excited to share this news with you. And I'm telling you what, folks, people are getting this all wrong. I see depressed people all over going, oh no, we lost the elections last night. You mean, oh wait, you mean that New Jersey, which hasn't voted for a Republican since God knows when. And I mean, what was the last Republican governor they had, folks? Come on, help me out here. Who was the last Republican governor that New Jersey had? Last Republican mayor that New York had. Okay. I mean, this is interesting, folks, how people are assessing the information that took place here. Who was the last Republican governor that New Jersey had? Come on. Somebody's got to know out there. Also, please smash that like. Do chat in with where you're from, folks. It's going to be a great show. I also need to let you guys know something. I think I'm going to be able to break something really big today. Okay. And be paying attention. It's going to be on a live. I will probably do it with Mike Lindell. It is not about the Minnesota governor's race. That is not what this is about at all. Actually, it's a significantly bigger story. Somebody got it. Chris Christie. That's right. Was Chris Christie the shining example of how to be a great Republican, folks? Is that like New Jersey? Okay, so I think New Jersey can shift red. I think that there's that possibility, but it didn't happen last night. And I actually think Citarelli was a great candidate. Now, Sears in Virginia was not. I've covered this. I talked about it a little bit last night, but as much as I think she would have governed well, she wasn't a great candidate. I mean, I watched her on the debate stage, and I'm not saying that the other person was a great candidate. Okay, that's not it. But look at this, folks. I'm gonna tell you something. This isn't about just blue states voting blue. I'm talking about big wins against the establishment last night. I'm going to go specifically to South Carolina, and I people don't even get this. Adam Morgan, who I've had on the show before, you guys have seen him. He's out of South Carolina. Massive victory in South Carolina tonight. The South Carolina Freedom Caucus candidates, Diane Mitchell and John Lastiger, won state house runoffs despite a deluge of establishment attack ads. So we had Republicans running attack ads against Freedom Caucus members in South Carolina, and they won. They won. Okay, and the question is, will the lobbyists finally get the message? And Adam says that the best days are ahead for South Carolina. So in spite of establishment attack ads, Freedom Caucus, we're talking about real wins now, folks. We're not talking about somebody with an R after their name winning an election, okay? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about real conservatives, Freedom Caucus conservatives winning. Do you all get what I'm saying here? So people are going, oh my gosh, New York voted for Mondami and how bad that is. It is bad, folks. I mean, that they would do that, but it's actually good. Okay, let me explain. Do you honestly think that Mondami could win on a national scale? Because this is now what these far left lunatics in the Democrat Party are pressing forward with. They feel that the new model is Mondami. But I will tell you that even in the states, New Jersey and Virginia, where these Democrats won for governor, they did not run one single bit on LGBTQ taking over businesses, running communism. They tried to play centrist. Now, they may govern as far leftists. That could very well happen. But I'm just telling you that in order to actually get those votes. And we're not even talking, folks, yet about the problems with our election system. I went to vote in Minnesota last night. So I walk up. It's gotten worse. Okay. It used to be you walked up and you had to sign in on paper. Now it's all electronic. So literally they have a pad and I just walk up. This is what happens in Minnesota. I don't know what it's like in your state, but I walk up in Minnesota and I go, they just want my name. I go, Neil Johnson. And then they go, they repeat my address back to me. They say, Neil Johnson here? And I'm like, okay, just sign here. I mean, I could be Joe Schmo. I don't even have to know my address because they give it to me before I give it to them. Do you understand the problems with this? And then it's all on electronic stuff? Come on. Come on. Okay. But this news gets even better because I got a bunch of stuff I'm going to pull through. I'm going to go through this really fast. Do me a favor again, please smash that like if you just jumped on. Also, please check out my sponsor, MyPillow. That's mypillow.com/lumberjack. We are going to be getting some new deals up on that site today. Right now, we have the free shipping still going on. So that's there. Get your Christmas gifts there. Blowout sale on the standard MyPillows, $14.98. Body pillows for $29.98. Mattress toppers, $149.97. And it's free shipping even on the big stuff. All right? So go check it out, mypillow.com/lumberjack, or call the 800 number at 1-800-568-2865. Okay, this is where we go. We're going to get into it. So again, the national landscape, what you're hearing. In fact, let me give you a quote from somebody. Where is it? I know you guys are going to go, oh, no, Neil, don't quote him. No, I'm going to quote him. Van Jones. This is the foolishness of these people. Van Jones says, buyer's remorse is real. Independents gave Republicans a shot. Latinos gave Republicans a shot. Black men gave Republicans a shot. They all tried it. And now they're coming home. Tonight's elections prove that the people are tired of the status quo. At the end of the day, people's basic rights are not being respected. Tell me, folks, how your rights have been infringed on during the Trump administration. My rights have only expanded. My rights to not pay for illegal alien health care. My rights to not pay for people who are ineligible for SNAP benefits. By the way, I saw a thing yesterday and they had some memes right themselves. Why do they always have super uber overweight people talking about SNAP benefits and not being able to eat? Have you guys seen these? Like, this has happened before. So we got super overweight people who are obviously not starving, talking about starving because they don't get their SNAP benefits. Gosh, God help us all. So we have that right has expanded. My right to my money has expanded that I've earned. Okay, that I can then give freely, not have it forcefully taken through taxation. He goes on. Tonight's elections prove that people are tired of the status quo. At the end of the day, the basic rights are not being respected and their basic needs aren't being met. People don't want more talk and more spin. They are focused on groceries, rent, safety, dignity, the stuff that actually matters. Okay? Tonight's elections in Virginia, New Jersey, and New York City prove it. People are tired of the status quo. That's why Mondani won, and that's why you are seeing this blue blowout. There was no blue blowout. Okay, do you guys all get this? There was no blue blowout. Has New Jersey been red? Has Virginia been red? Okay, last time we had a great candidate running for New Jersey who could run a really effective campaign, or not New Jersey, but for Virginia, and he managed to pull it off. Good for him. The fact that it flipped back, that thing's flipping back and forth all the time in Virginia. Again, don't take these things as too big. Look at a state like South Carolina where Freedom Caucus members, in spite of attacks by establishment Republicans, won. And you will see that these red states are shifting even redder. And that when it comes up next election, so the other thing that's playing out here too, there is massive voter fraud. And I want to actually address something here really quickly. I'm going to close this one. Where am I going here? Right here. So if you didn't catch, Carolyn Levitt talked about the voter fraud, and Trump talked about looking into what's going on in California in the Prop 50, okay? But my friend Nick Moseder, okay, did a video on this yesterday, and I thought it was very poignant because on the bottom, he talked about voting by mail and the fraud. Folks, there is no greater chance for fraud in voting than voting by mail. I am sorry. You can go, no, we need to vote by mail and all this stuff. No, we need to absolutely end voting by mail. This is why so few countries allow it, because it is so ripe for fraud. And Carolyn Levitt brought the receipts and Nick Moseder talked about it. But do you know what YouTube put down at the bottom of the video? Voting by mail from the Bipartisan Policy Center. By the way, if anything ever says bipartisan, it's liberal. Okay, I just want you to know, if you ever see the word bipartisan policy center, like Brennan's Center for Justice tries to claim that they're nonpartisan. Yeah, Brennan, okay, come on. So, voting by mail, bipartisan policy center. Mail ballots submitted by voters who meet eligibility and validity requirements are counted in every election. Before they are counted, election officials vigorously verify the validity of every submission. Bull pucky, okay? Not true. But this is what they do. They put this on the bottom. So I'll just show you this. There's Nick's video. Don't tell me the screen's backwards. I know. It doesn't matter. But here's the warning. Here's the warning right there. Okay. So the warning's down there, and it's telling you that, wait, Nick's giving you bad information because these are vigorously, okay. It's like giving you baseball tickets during COVID to get jabbed and stuff. Okay, now, and then Vivek Ramaswamy goes on. They're key lessons for the GOP after electoral blowout. We got our arses handed to us. That's what, and he's talking about it, you know, all these different things. Vivek, I'm sorry. He's a joke. He's out. Okay, just wanted to let you know that. Here, I'm going to give you something really wild. You want to hear some big wins in Minnesota? In Minnesota, folks, we had wins. My state, we had wins. Now, what's interesting is, too, and I'll give you the ones that are the biggest, but I want to talk specifically about the Minneapolis mayoral race first. They have ranked choice voting. Folks, if you ever see ranked choice voting as an initiative, you need to get out and vigorously oppose that like nothing else. So, as bad as Mayor Small Fry is, that's Jacob Fry, who oversaw the Minneapolis riots, he is still the most pro-police candidate in the mayoral race in Minneapolis. And last night, we had a guy who speaks in Somalian, wraps himself in the Somalian flag, and pledges allegiance to Somalia with Ilhan Omar up on stage, ended up not winning. It's going to go to a runoff because Mayor Jacob Fry got like 40 some odd % of the vote, and this guy Omar Fatah got less. So it looks like Mayor Fry might actually win. And I know it sounds crazy, but for the cops in Minneapolis, that's actually reasonably good. That's how bad Minneapolis is. So I don't expect a lot out of New York City and Minneapolis, okay? But check this out. Minnesota has been a state. We have like some sort of weird collectivism, and that I have my phone ringing, blocked out for just a second. I did not put it on TND. It's my son, and I'm going to call him back. But get this, we have this weird collectivism crap going on. It comes out from some sort of Scandinavian background and heritage, and I'm Swedish and Norwegian, okay? Listen to this. We typically see all these school board or school bonding referendums. Look at the numbers on this. Up in Hibbing, where I'm from, okay, which I obviously voted no. These are for tax increases. They wanted to increase, listen to this. Question 1, the school board of ISD 701, Hibbing Public Schools, has proposed to increase its general education revenue by $603 per pupil. Now, I will tell you folks, if you don't understand the education game, right now in Minnesota, I think they're spending, it's well over $10,000 per pupil. I don't know the exact number. I don't have it in front of me. It varies from school district to school district. But let's say $15,000 per pupil they're spending on a high school education. And you can send your kids to a private Christian school for like $4,000 a year and get a better education. Yet it requires $15,000 to get a crappy education through the state where you will get woke indoctrination and kids who can't even do basic arithmetic. Again, please smash that like, chat in with where you're from. Love to see who's on the stream. But folks, listen to this. $603 per pupil increase. And then it's subject to an annual rate increase at the rate of inflation. The proposed referendum revenue authorization would first be levied in 2025 for taxes payable in 2026 and would be applicable for 10 years unless otherwise revoked or reduced by law. Shall the increase in general education revenue proposed by the school board of 701 be approved? This is the numbers on it. In a state that consistently votes for more tax increases for schools, folks, what do you think the split was on this question? I want you to guess in the chat. What do you think the split was? And then I'm going to go to the second question. They lost on both, but what do you think the split was? Question 2, school board looking for another bond referendum approves a capital levy authorization of 8.767% times the net tax capacity of the school district. Okay, it will raise approximately $1.3 million for the first year, and then for 10 additional years thereafter, a total of $13 million. Okay, provide funds to finance and purchase the installation of software and technology equipment, because that's what our kids need. Okay, what do you think the split was on this, folks? 68 to 31. 68-31 split. This is in a state that consistently approves this kind of stuff because they just don't seem to see a tax increase they don't like. People are completely opposed to these tax increases for systems that are wasting our money. And it wasn't just in Hibbing. All across the state of Minnesota, 65-35 splits on these questions. Some were a little lower, like Clearbrook-Gonvick was 54-46, but every single referendum I'm looking at was defeated. Defeated. Okay, this is huge. I go on. Okay, so this happened in Minnesota. Again, so go back to the basics here, folks. We have Freedom Caucus members, real conservatives, beating establishment money in South Carolina. We have school bond referendums getting defeated in Minnesota, a liberal state. We have the Somalian candidate for mayor who pledges allegiance to Somalia and vows to do right by Somalia, losing in that election, and will most likely lose in the runoff because it's ranked choice voting. Okay, I got more for you here. Let's see. And here's the thing that's really frustrating to me is I'm listening to these quote unquote conservative pundits talking about how last night was so bad for Republicans and how we need to learn from it. Okay, we just need to vote harder, this kind of stuff. I understand that there is lower turnout in off-year elections amongst Republicans. That has been historically true. But do not think that Prop 50 in California, did you guys see the mail-in ballots? You could even look. Okay, they had an opening, so if you voted against Prop 50, you could see it through the ballot, through the envelope. Did you guys see this stuff going on in the news? And then you've got complete mail-in systems in these different states. Stop with it all, please. Until we get our elections fixed, we got big problems. Again, folks, be paying attention because I think I'm going to be able to do a big announcement today. I'm going to do that with Mike Linda. It's not about the Minnesota governor's race. This is a big deal because I'm talking about elections. I'm talking about lawfare. I'm talking about all that stuff. And there looks to be a big thing taking place here that Mike can announce on our show today. Okay. But I'm going to read something from my friend Brian Lupo. You guys know him. Most of you know him if you followed me for a while. We have to stop pretending that our elections are real and that our voter rolls are real. And that black box voting machines with source code no one can review that are owned by private corporations and investment firms are somehow secure ways of voting. Just trust us. Also, you're not allowed to look. You guys know this, right? So they say, just trust us. Oh, this is the most safe and secure. But also, you're not allowed to look. We can't look at the source code. We can't open up the hood of the machines. We can't look because this is somehow, and this is all supposed to be part of our national security infrastructure, and we can't even look at it. And we can't look at it because it's proprietary code. It's so super secret. It's a frickin' adding machine, okay? It's ridiculous. Getting worked up over voters didn't turn out is utterly retarded, he said. The bottom line is until we know our voter rolls are cleaned up, voter ID is mandated, and mail-in balloting is safe and rare, we're going to keep getting rugged. They own the media. They own the mainstream media still, folks. And the outlets that should care about it don't actually give a crap. Has Fox News, in quote, our side, covered the DOJ's letter to Fulton County requesting election records that have been tied up in litigation for over 4 years? We have talked about that ad nauseum on this stream. We've had Garland Favorito on. I've had Heather Mullins on. I've had numerous people on to talk about this. But we have still not seen the ballots from Fulton County, Georgia from 4 years, well, almost 5 years ago now. Did they cover the curling case where a federal judge declared that we have the right to vote, but don't have the right to ensure it's counted accurately? Has Fox News talked about this? No. I can go on and on about their willful ignorance of the dangers in our current election environment, and I'm not talking about the 200 illegals found on the voter rolls type of crap. It's way worse than that. In Democrat versus Republican, it's always the fourth quarter down by 2 for the minority party. It keeps us interested and emotionally invested It's how they keep the balance. Please use some first principles here. We cannot know who won because we cannot trust any aspect of the system. Not one. Are you folks getting this? Please, in the chat, chime in. Are you getting this? Because I don't think we have not yet learned the full lessons of 2020 because we got a victory with Trump in 2024. Okay? So, oh wow, George was so down. He shouldn't be so down. I'm going to call George. I'm calling George for you folks. We got to get George back up. George should be on this stream. He might be watching in the background. He watches a lot of my streams. George, if you're there, comment, because you should not be down, my friend. Okay? And they make too much money off the push and the pull, the give and the take. And hold on, I got this guy whining here. The give and the take. And now the same disease has infected the Mockingbird media, has made its way to the influencer realm. And I bet they love it. It's far cheaper. This is the first major election since last year's presidential election. They better have got what they need. It's time to get to work. So here's the scoop, folks. First major election, blue states stay blue, okay? But the margins were sizable, okay? And we still are voting by machine. We are still not requiring voter ID. We are still mailing out ballots en masse. We have got to learn the lessons. We have got to learn the lessons. Folks, Virginia did not go red in the 2024 general. Do you guys know that? In fact, Kamala Harris had the same margin of victory as Hillary Clinton, about 6%. Okay? Again, blue states voting blue isn't going to surprise me. Blue states with rigged elections being blue is not going to surprise me. But I want us to talk specifically here really quickly about the Mamdani win and why people are so freaked out about it and why they shouldn't be. So 2 things on this. Number 1, let me ask you guys a question. And in the chat, please answer this seriously. Again, please smash that like button. Chat in with where you're from. Really help get the stream out. It does a lot. Like, you hit the like button. It's wild. Okay, so, but here's the thing. Mamdani wins in New York. He's an utter communist, part of the Democrat Socialist Party, okay? And they act like this is a big win. How many of you thought Cuomo was a great candidate? Yes or no? I mean, this is what we were told. Oh, Cuomo's got to win. How many of you honestly think Cuomo would have been a good mayor for New York City? I mean, the guy is come on. The guy who sent the elderly to nursing homes to die? That's our option over this Mamdani? I will guarantee you it would have been worse for the Republican Party if Cuomo had won than if Mamdani had won. Let me explain what I mean. Mamdani is going to test his policies in New York City. He thinks he's got it. I will say this much. He ran a great campaign. He did. Social media, he understands it. He gets it, okay? Kind of like Trump's team did, okay? But, and Cuomo's a schmuck. He's a schmuck. And Silla wasn't going to win. And so, come on. So what, we're supposed to be like all upset about Mamdani winning? Mamdani's win in New York City was the best possible outcome out of a real except for maybe a real conservative winning. But since that wasn't going to happen, Mamdani winning was better than Cuomo winning. And let me explain why. As he tests these theories out, he is going to be the national experiment. Not only that, the progressive wing is going to get more bold in thinking that they need to have, I got a super chat here I got to read, sudden urge to watch the movie Escape from New York City. Straight up, Dana. That's a good comment. I got to hit the love on that. It's not working. The love button. I love it. Okay, it's not working, my love button. Okay, so here's the thing. Thank you for that super chat, by the way. Okay. This is a freak out moment for the National Democrat Party. Okay? So let me tell you what I mean by that. Okay, so this is, let me go to, I'm going to read from the AP. A referendum on Trump. They're trying to say it's a referendum on Trump. It's not, okay? That's not what this is. A new star for the Democrats and Republicans in New York City. Moderates won in Virginia and New Jersey. Now, it's wild that these people are called moderates, okay? I got another super chat I got to address here quick. Kelly said, if your very existence and survival is shackled to and under the bottle of another, you are not free, you are owned. Amen. All right. So here's the thing. this is the worst possible outcome for the DNC nationally. A self-described Democrat socialist won in New York City. He is a 34-year-old state legislator who backs radical changes to address economic inequality, and he will serve as the next mayor of the nation's largest city. Okay? He won in a radically blue city. That is not a big victory. As those policies play out, he will be soft on crime. I guarantee you he's going to be soft on crime. And you're going to see crime increase in New York City. It is like a little social experiment that's going to be going on. He wants the government to own the grocery stores. Now, he's going to have a lot of court challenges and these types of things. His bold agenda and inspirational approach helped generate the largest turnout in a New York City mayoral race in at least 3 decades. It also spooked some business leaders and voices in the Jewish community who otherwise support Democrats but oppose some of Mamdani's past statements about personal wealth accumulation and Israel. In fact, he says that taxation is not the evil. Capitalism is the evil. Capitalism is the very thing that built this nation. Okay? Capitalism is the very thing that gives you the freedom and equality to go out and start your own business and to grow that and to actually prosper. Capitalism is the greatest form of economics ever developed and devised. Okay? But the National Party is absolutely freaking out about this right now because they know that this is not good. It's not good for the Democrats nationally. And I had a quote here, if I can find it real quick. It's not there. Here it is. This out of MSNBC. Get ready, folks. Listen to this. Okay? In Washington, the mood among Democrats is less celebratory. Mamdani has run a joyful campaign that has offered many tactical lessons for Democrats, Caitlin Legacki, a Democrat strategist, told MSNBC. But it would be a grave mistake to think you could run somebody with these policy positions anywhere outside of America's most liberal city. A Mamdani victory is a serious political problem for those in the party who believe, as we do, that our primary focus must be on flipping red and purple seats blue, expanding the map for Democrats, and creating a path back to Congress and the White House, Matt Bennett, executive president of center-left think tank Third Way, told MSNBC. The DSA, Democrat Socialists of America platform, which Mamdani has not repudiated, hands a potent set of weapons to Republican ad makers eager to tie Mamdani-style politics to Democrats running in much tougher places than deep blue New York. Nearly 1 year after Donald Trump defeated Kamala Harris and relegated the Democrats to the wilderness, many in the party are fearful that given the New York mayor's outsized role in national politics, Republicans will make Democrats throughout the country answer for Mamdani's every utterance, seeking to use him as a boogeyman, not unlike how Nancy Pelosi was deployed for the last decade plus. It's clear to anyone with a glimmer of intellectual honesty that we have to rebuild our brand and move to the center if we ever hope to win red and purple seats again, Legacki said. In that, Mamdani's prominence may prove a hurdle. I am telling you, the Mamdani win in New York, the Democrats are even admitting it is the greatest gift for Republicans. So, again, let's just break this down really quickly. For those who just jumped on the stream, I'm going to give you the wins. I'm going to just rifle through these really quick. Okay. So pay attention. And again, please go check out my sponsor, MyPillow, mypillow.com/lumberjack or promo code lumberjack. Right now, blowout sale on the original MyPillows. And pay attention because later today, I am going to be doing a stream. I think I'm going to be breaking something really big with Mike Lindell, and it has nothing to do with the Minnesota governor's race. This is really a cool story. I'm very, very excited about it. So be tuned in. Get your notifications on. I'm serious. It's a big one. All right. So in New York, Mamdani's win and Cuomo's loss is actually a win for us because Cuomo would have been a little more centrist, but he's also the guy who sent New Yorkers to nursing homes, elderly New Yorkers, and killed them. New Jersey, Virginia, they're generally blue anyways. The last Republican out of New Jersey was Chris Christie, who sucks, okay? Let's be just real about this. So quit making these like some big losses, like, oh my gosh, these were so unexpected. It just shows a national shift. It doesn't. I'll show you some shifts. In Minnesota, a reliably blue state, as far left as it can get, every single school bond referendum defeated in massive amounts. People are voting no for an increase in their taxes and government waste, fraud, and abuse. Everybody wants this waste, fraud, and abuse to end. In South Carolina, despite Republican establishment attack ads against them, the Freedom Caucus members won. Okay, that is a big deal because when we actually, America, here's what I want you to understand: the Freedom Caucus is vastly different than the what's the Progressive Caucus, the Squad, and these kinds of people, and nationally. In state races, there is a Freedom Caucus movement in state races in the Republican Party. And what it does, the Freedom Caucus is simply kind of mainstream issues, which is opposed to more taxation. It actually supports family values, doesn't want women in boys' locker rooms, boys in women's locker rooms, kind of common sense stuff. Things that the establishment Republicans are so willing to bend on. So we have those people winning despite Republican establishment attacks against them. These are people that can win nationally by supporting good policies like that. Then you have so you got the school bond referendum, you got South Carolina, you got Mamdani, and these are indicators. So what the mainstream media is telling you is not what's real. Also, California doing Prop 50. Do you know that's gonna trigger redistricting in other states? All those California seats, which are all frauded out anyways right now, folks. It's all fraud. They're going to steal by fraud, or they're going to do it through redistricting. They do it through redistricting. We redistrict as well, and we're able to shore up the conservatives. And we're going to win as a result of that. Plus, we've got that big Supreme Court case going on right now. As soon as we have to end gerrymandering based on racial profiling, the Democrats are going to lose about 20 seats. As soon as we get a new census and illegals are not able to be counted into the census, that is going to reapportion the seats actually. So these are the things, folks, to pay attention to. These things last night, again, according to Trump, there may have been kind of a fraud catch going on out there in California. I'm curious to see how that all plays out. But again, we need one day paper ballots, hand counted, no mail-in voting, no machines. Voter ID. The Democrats can't win national elections if those are in place. Mark my words. Okay? Yeah, a lot of people are talking about how their state is closed because, a lot of people are going to be retreating out of New York now. So people are like, Florida's closed. Idaho's closed. Wyoming is closed. Tennessee is closed. We can't take any more people. So it's real, and those states are going to increase in their population, which is then going to give them more electoral votes. It does not look good long-term for the Democrat Party in America. I'm sorry, folks, it doesn't. It doesn't. These trends are not playing out well for them, okay? The same with more people buying Bibles and reading the Bible and all this. It is not playing out well for the Democrat Party. So don't get down, please. For the love of all things, do not get down. Y'all get it? Don't get down. Again, please smash that like. I love you folks. My core audience always smashes that like for me, so thank you. But if you're new, please subscribe to the channel, smash the like. I'll continue to give my analysis and commentary. I do this in addition to other things, so I'm a little inconsistent sometimes, but I try to bring you good stuff. All right. And I try to keep your hope up too, because I think people can tend to get black-pilled so easily out there. And don't allow that to happen to you when we've got all these great things taking place. I mean, I'm looking at a 68-32 loss for the school board referendum or school bonding referendum in Hibbing, Minnesota. In Hibbing. This is like where all the socialists lived. Floodwood, Hibbing. This was the Pullman strike of railroad workers. Eugene V. Debs. This is like historically, like collectivism, big government crap. And we're winning up here. 68-32. Folks, this is awesome. Freedom Caucus members winning in South Carolina. There's all kinds of other things I could dive into, but that's what I had time to dive into this morning, folks. Again, mypillow.com/lumberjack or call 1-800-568-2865 for free shipping. $14.98 on standard MyPillows, folks. It's a phenomenal deal. Go get yourself some. Get them for the liberals because they are going to be crying after the next election. So you give them to them for Christmas. So they get a good night's sleep after November 4th of 2026. We'll see you on the next episode. I love y'all. Peace out.